And what is God's will? God's will to realize purpose of God's creation. And we know the purpose of God's creation can be only realized when four-point foundation is realized. Without these four-point foundations, there cannot be God's purpose of creation. Therefore, goodness is also the same. Cannot be goodness unless we realize God-centered four-point foundations. So, because of this, four-point becomes fundamental base of goodness. And this is also fundamental base of the force of give and take action. How this force of give and take come? Force of give and take action. It comes out when subject and object perform give and take action. When this happens, force of detection will come. And we know when this comes, by this force of give and take action, they can exist, act and multiply. We know that. And when they do this, all they have to give out this, all is subject object, they perform give and take action centering on God. In ideal world, original world, all they perform give and take action centering on God, and they bring some result. So by this, by give and take action, they always perform, establish God-centered four-point foundation. Therefore, we can say the four-point foundation is the base of the force of four-point foundation. And we know in fallen world also they have force. Without force they cannot exist. But their give and take action is not centered on God, or is their give and take action is centered on Satan. This form. This is fallen world. Therefore, in this world, God cannot intervene. God cannot intervene in this world. So for fallen people, it seems as if there is no God. So God cannot work there. Base of this one, existence, action, and multiplication. So for the being to exist, or they have to have this. subject and object, then the being can existence. It can exist. Or the action or its subject and object must have this, and the force of action comes. Force of action comes from this. And also multiplication, subject object. When they perform give and take action, here second generation. So what is this? So without this four-point foundation, there cannot be any existence or multiplication or action. And from this we can understand all the, in fallen world, all the people exist, not centering on God, but centering on Satan. So, to God, this world is like no man's world, Actually, there's no existence, because they are not centered on God. So, for God, it's like no man's world. And also we say the three stages of growth come from this. The idea of three stages of growth come from this. To have perfection of man, there's first God and man have to go through this origin, division, union, all three stages of action. They have to go through this process. So for the perfection of family, the same. So for the perfection of man must go through ODU action, and also for the family to become perfect, origin, division, union action have to go through three stages. So from this, the concept of three stages came. And from this four-portion foundation, number 3, number 4, number 3 and number 12, the significant numbers for God's providence came. So to establish God's four-portion foundation, we need 4 beings. So without 4 beings, we cannot have four-portion foundation. And also, this is triple objective purpose. So each one needs 3 objects. Therefore, number 3 came. And number 12 came. For 4 beings, each one has 3 objects or subjects. So 3 objects for each being, it makes 12 objects. So for man's life, we need this 12 objects relationship. Because of this, Jesus has to have 12 disciples. So 12 disciples represented 12 objects. So this means that we have to have good give and take action with 12 different type of people. So when you become child, then you have to have father, mother, and grandfather. So with them you have to have good give and take action. And when you grow to, if you are man, you become husband, then you have to have good give and take action with your father, wife, and children. 3 objects. And when you go to grandfather's position, then your son and your daughter-in-law and your grandchildren. 3. But we know husband and wife, they are one, and they exchange their positions. Sometimes when wife is away, then husband must take the role of wife, mother. And when father is away, then wife must take the role of father. Therefore, or sometimes you have to, even if you are woman, sometimes you have to play a role of father, husband. Therefore, as even woman, but sometimes as husband, you have to also have good give and take with the 3 other objects. So therefore, man comes to have 12 different objects. So if you can have good relationship with 12 different types of people, then you can have good relationship with anybody, anyone. So therefore, for our life of faith, we need at least 12 children of spiritual children, as Jesus had. So Jesus, in his lifetime, he wanted to have good relationship with them. He wanted to become one with them, but he could not succeed in doing that, because out of his 12 disciples, some of them betrayed him. So couldn't make that. So if he could have made that, then maybe he should not have died on the cross. So this, therefore, number 12 is very important number. And next one is then what is the shape or form of four-position? How does it look? Four-position foundation. What do you say this? This is now 4, small 4. I think this is just a 4. Yeah. Just without this. Just 4. Form. So resistance form of four-position foundation. How does it look? So we say God, subject, object at union. Centering on God. Then how does this look? Subject, object, when they perform give and take action. It looks, subject, object, give and take action looks like this. Yes. So, object. This is this form. We say they become one. So what does this mean? Subject, object, even if they are far away or short, it does not make a distance. The distance does not count. You know? When husband and wife, they love each other, whether father is, husband is away or father is, they are in near, it does not make any difference. They are always connected. So if we show the connection in diagram, we can say like this. They cannot be separated. So this means that they live in relationship with each other. This is shown like this. If they go away, it cannot be this circle. So this means it's not just the exact form, but it means a relationship. And when they become one, then again they perform give and take action with God. So this diagram, this can be shown, this one like this, centering on God. And union, this is this form. But this is union. Union is this. So we replace this. So we put this here, this one here, then God, and this is the form of four-position foundation. Yeah. Oh yeah. Not Satan. This is the form of four-position foundation. But how, in the end, if they move, then what does it look like? So we call it, they form ellipsoidal form. Not round one, but like this, ellipsoidal. It's like a ball of rugby ball. So in nature, all the things, even the, if you see the atoms, then nucleus and electrons, they don't make a cubic circle. No, they don't make that. Or it's ellipsoidal circle. Then what does this mean? What does this mean, ellipsoidal form? Then what they mean in our real life? We call it six-directional relationship. Six-directional relationship. It means up and down, and front and back, and right and left. So we have these 6 different types of relationships in our lifetime. So what is up and down relationship? This between God and man, and parents and children. So we have to have in that relationship. We have to have relationship with God, and also parents and children. And front and back. What is this? Between husband and wife, we call it front and back relationship. Or your senior and your junior. Or elder people and younger people. This is, we call it front and back relationship. And next one is right and left. This is between friends, colleagues. So same level. The friend, the right and left, they are friends, your friends, all same level between the relationship between among the people of same level, we call it. Therefore, which is more closer here? Which is closer here in these relationships? Up and down. Therefore, it becomes short. This is more distance. Therefore, it takes ellipsoidal form. Same, this one. Right. Yeah, right and left. Brothers, sisters, all same level.
Why is up and down more closer?
Huh?
Why is up and down more closer?
Yeah, father and children, closer. Father and God and man, closer. Father and children is more closest relationship. So in Korea we have a special system of defining the relationship, closeness of relationship. Did you hear about that? When in your language, you have the word cousin. Cousin is what? Cousin is the children children of your father's brothers. Huh? Yeah. And how about the other one? So here we say, okay, I will speak about this. It's very interesting. There's father and mother. From them, you have brothers. Huh? You can have maybe three brothers or sisters. It's okay.
Those are the children.
Yeah, children. Huh? And again, they from this, also they come to have another. Maybe 2 or like this, huh? 2 children. In this case, we say between father and mother, husband and wife, no distance, we say, because it's one body. So we say no distance. And the measure of distance is ton. We call it ton. In Chinese we like this, but this means ton. This is the unit of distance. And we say between father and son, we call it one ton. One ton. So between husband and wife, there's no ton, 0 ton. But between father and mother, father and son, father and daughter, 1 ton. Then how about distance between brothers? What is how long? How distant? 2 tons. Huh? So then how about here? This is brother, so they are 2 tons. Huh? And if this uncle and nephew, how long? How many tons? 3 tons. Huh? And how about these cousins? 4 tons. And if you go one more, then how much more? 6 tons. Or two go down. No? Same level, 2 tons. And if you count this uncle and if their children, you count this one, it's a fifth, 5 tons. No? The 4 ton and the 5 ton. And each other 6 ton. And 8 ton. We count like this. So when I say, oh, he's my relative of 8 ton or 6 ton, 5 ton, by this we all measure.
We see also third cousin and fourth cousin. This means also that you have from
But it's not too, it does not show how close it is. Yeah, more precise, huh? Yeah. So 10 ton you can know immediately what that means. Usually we consider relatives onto 10 ton, very close. Yeah, 10 ton. Yeah, close. Yeah. Yeah, no, but we don't call it brother.
No.
Yeah, relatives. But we call it 10 ton brother. Or 10 ton, 10 ton, okay, 10 ton cousin or like that, you know. Or we say that, ton, we express, we put that, 10 ton. So if I meet somebody, then I say, he's my 8 ton brother, elder brother, 8 ton elder brother, or 8 ton elder sister, like that. So you can know how, yeah. It's very, so. And in Korea, we have family tree book. This is only country in the world. From way back, they kept everything, or from whom their children and what they did, and also everything is written in the book. So each family, they have their own book, many big ones. And this is their family treasure. Goes back to 1,000 years. Very, very, yeah. No Adam, but then why is 2 ton, you know? That is because here's parents, father and mother, then brothers can have relation only through father and mother. This you know, this concept is important. Here's parents, and here's 2 brothers. How can they have relationship? Because brother and son is 1 ton. They have to go through like this, not like this. Yeah? This brother and they connect directly connected to father and mother. So this is 1 ton, this is 1 ton, this is 1 ton. Therefore they become 2 tons, you know. So always go through parents. This is brother, this brother, but this 1 ton, this 1 ton, therefore 1, 2, therefore they're 2. Always go through parents. Yeah.
I'm married, so how many children I am from my parents-in-law? I am in a children position in front of them, or because my wife is the daughter,
Yeah.
and I become her husband.
Yeah.
So how many children I have?
So you can have only maybe if you have, you know, grandparents, then, or you can be grandson, or, you know, grandson-in-law, or son-in-law, or and the brother-in-law, you know, many. You know, if her family is big family, then many, you know, they can be many. Ton is a distance, you know, that is measure of length. Like a centimeter, you know, that unit of length. We use the same word for that. Okay, next one. This is Number 4, 5 now. So this is relationship among God, man, and creation, seen from give and take action. It's not too good. Not too good. Okay, I have to write again. Just okay, it's right, but you make more space. It's okay. No, you don't have to raise it. Okay, this is it. You know, God's creation, if we think now of God's creation, we know everything is made of energy. And God put his heart, love, intellect, will here, into this, and he made particles. We know God has love, heart, love, intellect, will. So he put his sengsang and hyeongsang into this energy, and with this energy he made particles. So energy was to make particles. And with particles, God made atoms. And with atoms, God made molecules. And from molecules, minerals came. So all the nature, all the mountains, water, river, everything. Minerals. And from minerals, served to raise plants. So plants came. And from plants, by eating plants, vegetables, animals came. And animals, what do? animals serve for man. See? So here man came here. From this we can understand the lower level beings always serve for higher level beings. Or energy serves for particles. Particles serves for atoms. Atoms serve for molecules. Molecules serve for minerals. Minerals serve for plants. Plants serve for animals. Animals serve for man. Then what is the purpose of man? What man should, to whom man should serve? Yeah. But fallen people, they know God? No, they don't know God. They deny God. Therefore, they don't serve God. Therefore, this circuit of give and take is cut off by here. So if one place is cut off, then water flows? No, it cannot flow. So this is just like blocked circuit. No flow here. Therefore, they cannot feel happiness here or everything. So the Bible says, what they say, all creations, they are longing for the coming of the children of God. So to restore this relationship, then there must come original man. And he must also show God to man, fallen people. Therefore, Bible says the Lord comes as Alpha and Omega. So who is Alpha? God is Alpha. God is Alpha, and this man is Omega. But therefore, the Lord comes as original man and as a representative of God, see? To show God to the people. Therefore, we say, the Bible says that he comes as Alpha and Omega. He plays two roles. Comes as original man and he shows God to man. So in place of God, both. So by coming him and by learning truth and love from him, we can serve God. And when this happens, then whole world come to have full circuit of give and take action. So this position, therefore, man's role is most important one. Because of man, everything is stuck. So man must restore his original position and must learn to serve God. Therefore, all the creation serve God, then God serves all creation. God loves all the creation, God serves all the creation. So this exchange of love and service. But because of fall of man, this was blocked. So we say, this world, what we call this world? In Korean, we have a saying that this is round, harmonious world, we call it. Round, harmonious world. So the round one, or this means very complete one, completeness. Circle means, this cubic means that, and this is like cubic. When all the water drops, they always take a form of cubic. Cubic, huh? Spheric form. That is most. From center, all the particles, all the points of a sphere is same distance. So this means this is most solid form. Sphere. We call this spheric harmony word. Got it. And we know man is created, man has Seongsang and Hyeongsang. And creation has Seongsang and Hyeongsang. But how does it? So creation is also but we, as in section 1, we said that God created man in his image, and creations were created in the symbolic form of God. Therefore, here's God. And man is his image, and creation is God's symbol. Therefore, creation becomes man's image. The creation is created in the image of man. because of this, we can say that man is the miniaturization of whole universe. It's a miniature body. So man is just a condensed form of the whole universe. Huh? Yeah, microcosm, or and a condensed form, condensed being of whole universe. Because in man, everything, all the 생사 and 형상 of creation are contained in man. Therefore, we can say man is a condensed being of whole creation or micro-universe. And we know man's physical body is made of energy or particles or molecules, but they respond to your feelings. When you are happy, also cells, they respond to it. When you are sad, also cells feel something. Then how these materials can feel your emotion, can respond to your emotion. So from this we can understand creation also has something which can respond to man's feelings. This is Seongsang part of creation. Seongsang part of creation. So through the Seongsang part, man's Seongsang and also this Seongsang parts of creation, they can have certain degree, have certain give and take action. Not full degree, but What time is it now? 10:20. Okay, we go more. Next one is the most important one. This is marriage of a first perfected man and woman. Now we say husband and wife. We say husband and wife, they perform give and take action. You know this. Then how this is expressed? This, if we express this in more detail, then it comes like this. This is man has, woman has Seongsang and Hyeongsang, and within man, they perform give and take action. We know this. But this husband is this, Seongsang and Hyeongsang, and this is male side. Male side, Seongsang and Hyeongsang. And woman's case, this is female side. Okay, same thing. And when these two, man and woman, they marry, that means this. They have give and take action. This is this. Huh? So this is the marriage of husband and wife. Then what form is this? This is the form of God. In God, we say male and female, they exchange give and take action. And they perform give and take action. So, in God, This is the form of husband and wife, this one. Therefore, when they become like this, they take exactly the same form of God. Then here we can understand, here we say man is also object. But this side, this case, man alone or woman alone is just only half of God. But when man and woman, perfect man and woman, they are united, they completely represent God. So this is the full object of God, full substantial object of God. When this happens, God can dwell in them. And we know man represents half of the world, because the world also is made of positive and negativity. Therefore, man represents half, woman represents the other half. Therefore, when perfect man and woman, they unite, also this world, which are made of two dual characteristics, they can unite, centering on man. And when this happens, God and this couple, they will become one. This couple are one. Therefore, God can have a base on the earth. Until this comes, no base for God to dwell in on this earth. Therefore, when this comes to reality, then God can come down on this earth. Therefore, this, when they are united, this becomes the center of whole universe. Because God is spiritual center, and this is physical center. And physical center, spiritual center and physical center are united in one. Therefore, this becomes the center of whole cosmos, including spiritual world and physical world. And when they are united, then this is we call center of cosmos, and also center of love. Center of love. So from here, God's history can start. So this is the starting point of goodness, because from here, God's ideal can be realized, therefore this is the starting point. Goodness. And all the creations can be harmonized at this point. So we call this one is also center of harmony. Joy comes from here. So good joy also comes from here. And this is very important part. Do we have a test? Yeah. We have a test, okay? Maybe tomorrow, sometime. Okay. If you like, we'll do it. Therefore, from this importance of true parents come. True parents, why it is important. Of course, we can be couples, but this is first point. Therefore, it is important because that is the center and that's the beginning point. What is the purpose of test? That is to give you a hard time or what? To give you, to let you know more. Which is?
Shows you whether he understood what you said.
Yeah. So, and also yesterday I gave you the comparison between Oriental philosophy and divine principle. Then why did we give that? You have to know the reason why. Because many people, if we say about positivity and negativity, then they immediately say we took something from Oriental philosophy. But this actually did not come from Oriental philosophy. Yeah, as a result, some parts coincide, but this is much more. And when Father got this, he did not study Oriental philosophy. Just he received from revelation from God. He found out. Therefore, we have to show how different it is from Oriental philosophy. Because of that, we gave that lecture. Yeah, so. Omnipresence of God. All the beings in the ideal world, all the beings, of course, they are made of subject object. There is nothing which are not made of subject object. So every being is made of subject object. And in the ideal world, they perform give and take actions centering on God. All is on God. So all is God-centered. And form union. Therefore, they always, when they become one, they become the object of God. So God works there, always. Therefore, in the world, in the ideal world, whenever subject and object perform give and take action and they form union, there God works. And there is nothing which does not have this give and take action between subject and object. Therefore, in the ideal world, God exists and everywhere. But in fallen world, how about that? In fallen world, there are many people and many things, but they are not centered on God. They are centered on Satan. Therefore, God does not exist in fallen world. And we say just holy things are only in church or something, but in ideal world, everything is holy. Everything is holy. So your house or you yourself can be holy, because God dwells in you. So we become the holy being. Our house becomes a holy house. So this is the difference between fallen world and ideal world. So multiplication of physiological body, all the plants, seed come, for plants here, stamen, pistil, and a seed. So it's a beginning. And from next generation, from this seed, also comes another seed. by this, they multiply. For men the same. For men, husband, wife, and the children, and husband, wife, and children. All is through this audio action. Conceived egg. Conceived egg. Comes. And again, conceived egg. What do you call this? Some other word we have? Fertilized? Fertilized egg. Okay. Okay. For men, you will conceive egg. Okay. Fertilized egg. And all the beings are made of. So, the reason why all the beings are made of subject and object, or everything is made of subject and object, why is it? So, without subject and object, they cannot perform give and take action. And without give and take action, they cannot be force. So, without force, they cannot exist. Therefore, to have force, they need to have subject and object relationship. So, all the beings to exist, they need force, and for force to come out, they have to give and take action, and to have give and take action, they need to have a subject and object. So because one is that. One reason is and multiplication. And for this, GT actually needed. And is therefore subject object. Must come. For eternal existence, or for eternal nature, for eternal existence. So eternity always comes in circular motion. Circular motion is needed. Without circular motion, so if we just keeps going, it will come to end. But if we have circular motion, no ends. So to have this circular motion, you need subject and object. Without subject and object, you cannot have circular motion. So we give that drawing. When you throw something, you throw this direction, and you have to hold thread to keep it go around. Then it's divided into this direction and this direction. This is force. Therefore, you have to have this force, which should coincide with this force. So what do you call this force? Centrifugal force? This called what? Centripetal force? Huh? Yeah, centrifugal force and centripetal force must be equalized, must be in equilibrium. This is force, this is force, and this is the force. Throw. Then you have this. You have to hold here, and you have to hold this. So you have to give the force according to this force. So when they are equalized, and they should be in equilibrium. Then this one can go around this section. This movement, circular motion. So because of this, everything is made of subject and object. Okay, so we finished section 2, and we'll have some break, and we'll go on section 3 next time. Yeah.
Understanding that you are writing that when the first perfect man and woman unite as husband and wife, all the creation come united,
Yeah.
same thing on man.
Yeah.
Does this mean that before our two parents, the creation was not united? Or
Yeah, of course they're not united. Yeah. So this means actually this is not fallen world. When all the creations were created in original state, and when God created first man, woman, if they are not fallen but they are united, then that can happen. But in this world is also different. Of course they are center of universe, but because of this fallen world is taken by Satan. So even they are united, but this world cannot be united immediately, you know. We have to bring it back from God, from Satan. So, but in ideal world, when first man and woman, they reach perfection, and if they are united in marriage, then that becomes that. Yeah. We're talking about that now. Okay? Now, section 3, this is purpose of creation. first one we want to discuss is the motivation of God's work for creation. Okay, why did God start to create, or the creation? To understand this, also we have to look at man's nature. We have many different kinds of natures, but among them, those who are not corrupted, good nature of man came from God. So by looking at man's original nature, we can see why God had to start his creation, creative work. And then to understand, we start why man starts to create something. And when you are alone, if you have much time and you have nothing to do, then you have to do something. Then what do you do? If older people, if they don't have any children and if you don't have anything to do, then what they do? If they like to have a cat or dog, so they want to play with cat, play with dog. And you have much time, and if you are talented in art, then you like to draw paintings. Maybe some people now make some goods to use, maybe small or book table or something. Anyway, they like to do something to make. So these things, the purpose of your making is to have your objects with which you can have give and take action. And we have to find out then why mind wants to have objects to have give and take action. We know without having give and take action, there will be no force. And before God started his creation, there was nothing. God was alone. Then could God be happy when he was alone? If we put one man, maybe one of you, let's say now, I want to put you, rope around you and hang you on the sky, and a dark night, nothing. There's nothing, just no sun, of course there's no sun, no moon, no stars, no blue sky, just a darkness. And also on the ground, you cannot see anything. No land, no water, no sea, no forests, no trees, no birds, no grass, anything, nobody. Anyway, just you are alone. You are completely surrounded by darkness. You cannot see anything. Then how about if you are there, you will be very happy. You'll be very happy. Maybe 1 hour. Maybe it's easy, but if you are left there for eternity, how would you feel? If you stay there for eternity, even you don't have to eat, but will you be happy to be there alone? All alone by yourself? Nothing else? Maybe just you will want to kill yourself. You will not want to stay there. Maybe you will become crazy. So you cannot stay there. You cannot live there in their circumstances. So for God is the same. God is Almighty God. He knows everything. He's omnipotent, omniscient. But if God stays alone, he cannot live like that. So for man, we need object to have give and take action. Same thing for God. So God wanted to have something with which he can have give and take action. So because of this, to have objects, that is what? To become unhappy or sad? By having objects, he wants to be happy. He wants to be joyful. So from this motivation, he started his creation. This is very clear fact. Huh? And so from this we can understand. And for you, also you need all kinds of objects. But maybe you can have a toy or some dogs. But which will be better if you have a man with whom you can talk, you can exchange your feelings, ideas, or the things which you cannot talk, which is better? Now, these cases, some people don't like to have friends because friends are not trustful. You cannot trust them. Sometimes they betray you and they may harm you because they don't want to have friends. But it's not because they do not want to have living objects. That's not. If man is good, they will be very happy to have good friends. But because they cannot find good friends, therefore, instead of man, wicked man, they want to have dog, which the dog does not harm the owner. So they can feel safe for that reason. Therefore, they want to have cat or dog. But if they could have man with whom he or she can exchange their heart fully, then they'll be most happiest. So for God is the same. He could have many different kinds of objects. So he created land, trees, plants, or animals. But what he needed most was the being with whom he can exchange his heart, his feelings. When God can have this object, then he can really feel happiness. Therefore, he created everything, and in the end, he created man. And the Bible says he created man in his image. So he wanted to make man like him, who can share heart with him, who can share feelings, everything. And he can entrust his things to man. Such a person he wanted to have. So this was God's ultimate goal to have on this earth. Okay, so now then, about purpose, because we say now purpose of creation, therefore we have to talk about purpose. And we say purpose of some being is given by its creator, not by himself. Or this purpose is given by its creator. So every being has a purpose of existence. So creator gives purpose of existence to the being. And we know all the creation has two parts, a Seongsang part and Hyeongsang part. So all the beings. Seongsang part and Hyeongsang part. So each part has purpose. So therefore they want to achieve their purpose. So they pursue after. Seongsang part wants to achieve its purpose, and we call purpose of Seongsang part Seongsang purpose. And purpose of Hyeongsang part, we call it Hyeongsang purpose. So there are two purposes. Then we have to understand what is Seongsang purpose, what is Hyeongsang purpose. To understand this, we have to understand Seongsang part and Hyeongsang part. The man's case, what is man's Seongsang? What is man's Seongsang part? What is that? Yeah, mind. But which part? We have two different kinds of mind. Yeah, spirit mind. This, But here we don't yet explain. We did not yet explain what the structure of man. So, but anyway, this is split mind. Therefore, sometimes we say original mind and conscience. But in reality, it is split mind. This is, and this is physical body. Then how does the split mind work? Split mind works through man's original mind and conscience. And yesterday I explained this. Original mind works by man's emotion, heart, emotion. And this works by man's knowledge, truth. So therefore this works by love, emotion, important part is love. This is by truth, so you want to do goodness. Therefore when man's Sangsang part works, it always wants to have love, wants to give love, and wants to have love. And this one wants to realize goodness. This is the work of man's Sangsang part, split mind. Therefore, if man is led by his Sangsang part, split mind, then he becomes a man of love and goodness. Then what is physical body? This one, this side. This is operated by physical mind. Physical mind. But we say just the physical body. It's okay. Same thing. Physical mind is one of physical body. And it always thinks of its own. Own self, always. So it concerns about physical things because it needs to, for its existence, it needs material, food and also environment to it. Therefore, always it thinks own self and always material things. So food or all kinds of things. Huh? And for men to have a proper life, then this Sangsang and Hyeongsang must have good give and take action. Huh? Then what is normal state of man? That this case, when Sangsang and Hyeongsang perform give and take action, which should be subject? Sangsang. So this is man. When Sangsang becomes subject, Sangsang becomes object, then this man becomes ideal man. Ideal man. Likewise, when we have Sangsang purpose and Hyeongsang purpose, they belong to one man, therefore they have to have give and take action. One man. So when they perform give and take action, if Sangsang part becomes subject, this becomes subject, this becomes object, then what will happen? Then this becomes ideal purpose. When this happens, then this man's life becomes a life of love and goodness. So he wants to do goodness to other people, he wants to love other people. So if everyone become like this, then that world will be the world of love, world of goodness. So when all people become like this, then we can have ideal world. Then how about fallen world? What is fallen world? In fallen world, everything is upside down. So, in fallen world, now man's Hyongsang, fallen man is this. Hyongsang became above, Seongsang became lower part, this one. So Hyongsang controls Seongsang. This is fallen man. Therefore, purpose became the same, you know. Therefore, in fallen world, Hyongsang purpose became the main purpose of man's life. Therefore, they only think of their material things. They don't think of only themselves for their own benefits, nothing else. So, for their to make more money, they cheat other people or they destroy other people. They don't care other people about other people. However, in your country, you have something, a better product. Some people make something, when they make to make more profits, so they add something bad one, just or poor quality products they make. Some product, if you eat, it harms your health, but they don't mind. Just they make it to make money. Yeah, just like this. Hyongsang purpose is top. They don't think of other people. So this is such a people. So Hyongsang purpose became ignored or oppressed by Hyongsang purpose. So this case, this is fallen world. This world is fallen world. So fallen purpose, the fallen world. Huh? So if this happens, then everybody thinks of himself. Then naturally division comes, separation comes, isolation comes. So divided. And their profits does not meet together. If it becomes a profit of A, then it becomes a loss of A. It does not work together. When one man make more profit, then the other man must lose. Therefore, here comes the conflict. The profit does not meet together. Therefore, this world becomes a world of struggle. When you think of yourself, all is world of struggle. So everybody think of himself, therefore separation. Everybody is divided. They build their own fortress. World of struggle, world of division. So world of isolation. Karl Marx said about isolation. How can he correct this? He said by destroying capitalists. But if even they are proletariat, but if their purpose is above here, you cannot change it. Now in Soviet Russia, how is that? They changed only people. They had power. Those who have power, they are doing same thing, even worse thing than free world, much more. So we have to change. Without changing this position, we cannot correct this world. Or the isolation, or everything. All the bad things come from this. Then, when many people live like this, you think it will be easy to have this life? If everyone live like this, it's very easy, because you love other people, they love you, then it's the same thing, because you don't lose anything. If everyone lives this way, but just you exchange, you give your love to the people, and they give their love to you, so you don't lose anything. They more prosper. You can have happiness and do not lose anything. But in this world, You have only yours. You cannot exchange anything, and you are not happy. Now, which is better? Yeah. This is. We don't have to say that this is. But in this world, to have this is very difficult because even you give love to other people, even you do good things to other people, they don't return you love and goodness. So we always we say, to continue something, you have to get something back. Without having back, it cannot continue. You just give out, then maybe you will be dried out. So this is like that. Therefore, to be able to continue life of love and goodness, then what we have to do? We have to gain fellow people. If you are alone, you cannot go on like that. Therefore, you have to gain people who do the same living, like you do. So this is from this we have the necessity of witnessing comes. So we want to have many people who can live this way. Then everyone can be happy. So we want to have this world. This is the world of God's restoration world, restored world. And we say man has double structure. We call it man has 성상 part and 형상 part. Therefore, we say man has double structure, and we have double purpose. So man is a being of double structure and double purpose. But always this part should be the first. This is first part. Okay, next one. Objects, good objects for God's joy. This is number 3. Number 2? Oh, yeah. Okay, this 성상 purpose, 형상 purpose number 2. 성상 purpose, 형상 purpose was number 2. Okay? And this is number 3 now. Yeah, towards well, we explained about that. Okay. Then how? First, we have to know how is joy produced? How is joy produced? How can you have joy? When you can have joy? Man has desire. And of course there can be many different desires, but we say we are talking about original desire of man. This is unfallen desire, original man's desire. When this original man's desire is fulfilled, satisfied, then you can have joy. So original desire of man. This is very important one. Then from where man's original desire come? From where? From where come? From your 성상 and 형상. So from your own 성상 and 형상, this desire comes. Man's from here. Where's the desire come? Then what is that? Then if we go in deeper, that is the desire for the existence, action, and multiplication of your 성상 and 형상. So that's the desire. That's the desire. This is man's original desire. And from this we can understand then, we have to come to this. Then, for the thing or for the being to exist, act, or multiply, what do we need? Yeah, give and take. Without object, you cannot give and take. So you need object with which you can have give and take action. So for this existence and action and multiplication, man needs to have objects with which can have give and take action. So for that, for the existence, action, and multiplication, man needs to have objects with which he can have give and take action. Then for this, then what kind of objects you need? This becomes the problem, next one. So we knew now, we need objects with which we can have give and take action. Then what kind of object we need? Then you need objects which has the 성상 and 형상, objects of 성상 and 형상 which you need, your 성상 and 형상 need. So you have to find the objects. Whose object you need? Whose 성상 형상 you need? So object with it better, with it better, which is better? Object with 성상 and 형상? With, yeah. 성상의 형상. See? So, you list some object which you need. Your 성상의 형상 wants to have. And also it must have the same content by which you can have close relationship. If even it has something, but if you cannot have close relationship, you cannot have that. So at the same time, you want to have close relationship with it. This is boring? Too warm. Yeah, too warm. Not too warm for you? Not too warm. Yes. Save energy. Huh? So also you need 성상 형상, and maybe it's very difficult to write, but just with which you can make sentence, okay? Not you. So close relationship, this is also important. Close relationship. That's good. That means good give and take action. Even if you need it, but if you cannot have good give and take action, if it does not fit you, it's not good. So we say man's joy comes when man can find the object which can return stimulation to your 성상의 형상, and when it can complement your 성상의 형상, because man is not perfect, man is just half. And the object, even when you find your friend, you want to find a friend who can complement part of your nature. So, and when you want to have your spouse, maybe if you have a round face, then you want to have long-faced spouse. That is, you want to complement something which you do not have from your object. So man can have joy when you have your object which can return stimulation to your own 성상의 형상. By that you can have joy. This is one thing. The other one is object which can complement your shortage of your 성상의 형상. Because man wants to be perfect. This is man's nature. So by having your object, if you can become perfect, such an object you want to have. When you have this object, then you can have joy. So two ways, two things. So therefore, when you look at the children, maybe for some other people, they don't look too nice, too beautiful. But for you, they are very lovely because they resemble your nature. So by seeing your own children, you can see you are seeing your part, your part of 성상의 형상. Therefore, you can have joy from your children, and from your wife or husband, also because he or she can complement your part. Because of that, also you can love. So from your friend, the same. Objects, same thing. So two ways we can have joy. So when you choose your object, you do from this point. You choose from this. So if you want to read a book, you want to find someone which can help you, which can provide the knowledge which you do not have, and you want to read this book. So sometimes also you want to read interesting book. That is what interesting means. Give a stimulation to your 성상의 형상. So two ways. Then, what kind of objects man can have? Three kinds. One is for man's object. One is man. Man can be man's object. The other is nature, or plant, or animals, or the scenes. This is second one. And third one is man's own creative work, paintings, or music, or anything man can make. These things can be man's objects. Then why man can be man's object? Because man and man, they have same level 성상 and 형상. Because of this, because they are on the same level, therefore from man you can have your best stimulation, or you can from man's 성상 and 형상 you can complement your nature, your 성상 and 형상. Therefore, in man we can find best object. And the reason why nature can be your object, man's object, that is because nature has 성상 and 형상, which is the image of man. Because God created all the creation in the symbolic, as symbols of God. Therefore, in turn, the nature becomes man's image. Therefore, from nature's 성상 and 형상, man can receive, can have stimulation for his 성상 and 형상. Therefore, nature can become man's second object. And the man's creative work, how do you make a man's creative thing? When you paint, what do you use? You use natural material. So material itself has image. What you have some adjective word for imagery or something? Image. Yeah, imagery. You have that word. Yeah, imagery, 성상 and 형상 of man. And also when you make a painting, you put your own 성상 and 형상 into it. Not image, no, adjective, I say. Imagery, you say you have imagery, imagery 성상. So nature has imagery 성상 형상 of man. Therefore, they are used in man's creative work, and man put man's own 성상 and 형상. Therefore, from man's creative work, we can receive stimulation, and also we can have give and take action with it. Because of this, man can have joy from. So we say this. So we say here, painter, for instance, this is an example. Painter's joy. When painter paint, then he has painter has 성상 and 형상. And he was painting. Painting also has 성상 and 형상. You know that? Yeah. 형상 is this material part. But from painting you can feel something. That is 성상 of painting. So that's the spirit. So then how this painting is made? You use material. Material, which has also 성상 and 형상. Anyway, so you want to use good material to make good painting. You want to have good color. So if you use bad one, you cannot make good painting. Materials plus your painter's heart. So we call it. Will and energy. So this is what painter put in. So by adding this, it becomes painting. So this is painting. This is painting. And if the painting, the 성상 and 형상 of painting can return 100% as he expected. So here we know when painter does, he always has some imaginary plan. So if his plan is completely realized in this painting, that means painting 성상 형상 responds 100% to painter 성상 형상. This means when this 성상 형상 and this 성상 형상 can have 100% give and take action, then painter can have full joy, 100% joy. So it means that painting came out exactly he intended to make. Then he can have 100%. But even he intended to make good painting, but it did not come out as he wanted. In this case, painter will be happy. If it became 50%, maybe he'll destroy it. 80%, maybe 80% happiness. So according to the degree of give and take action, his joy changes. So then how about outside people? So we are many people are not painters. So when do you come and see painting? When you feel joy, happiness. Even you are not painter, but you have a 성상 and 형상, and you can feel your 성상 and 형상 in this painting. You can find your 성상 and 형상 in this, and if they return some stimulation to your 성상 and 형상, in this case you can feel joy. So we write down this way. Therefore, okay. So we say this one and this. So painters, this we write this way. It's better. This one. So this one. Or give and take action. Then just painter's joy. Like this. Then how about our reality world? In this world, so for man, I said man is the best object to have joy, but in reality, can we find great joy from people, from man? Sometimes no. Sometimes man becomes object of fear. So if you go alone on the dark night, if there was some man come, then you get scared, huh? Instead of having joy. Why does this happen? Because man became a man of fall. So man lost man's original 성상 and 형상. Therefore, you cannot find your own original 성상 and 형상 from other people. In this case, you cannot find joy or happiness. So from this we can understand, for man's joy, we have to find a perfect object. So for man's joy, he is man, he has 성상 and 형상. A perfect object. And from this we can have give and takes. So the man and this perfect object. That's man's joy. So for God is the same. God has 성상 and 형상. For God's greatest joy, he needs man. So here's perfect man. And this perfect man and God must have full give and take action. From this, God's joy comes. So we can say God's joy comes when God's 성상 and 형상 can have give and take action with man's 성상 and 형상, or object 성상 and 형상, and can get stimulation to his own 성상 and 형상. In this case, God can have joy. And then what will be the objects for God's joy? I said for man's joy, there are three objects. Man and nature and man's creative work. Then how about God's object? Man. Man, then also God's nature. Nature is also God's object. And how about man's creative work? They can be also God's object. So for God the same as man. But God wanted to have greatest joy from man and all universe, but by the fall of man, God lost his object with which he could have given take action. Therefore, God became a God of sorrow. But many Christians don't understand this. They think God is God of glory, God of joy. They think this way. They don't know God became the God of sorrowfulness. Then now we have to understand then what kind of God we have now after man's fall. This is two, big two. No. So this is God's sorrow and pain after man's fall. So the universe and man as his object goodness to receive. Greatest joy. And God wanted to have this, the greatest joy. Because of this, God made all the creation of beauty, truth, and happiness. Beauty, truth, and goodness. So God wanted to have greatest joy. Therefore, He did His best, and He made all things, all beings to be the most beautiful, being of beauty, truth, and goodness. And what is man then? What is man's quality? How did God create man? Man is created as body of God and children of God. Man was And God wanted to inherit his heart as love to man. So God wanted to give his most precious heart and love to man. Wanted to inherit. Heart and love to man. Such a person was man. And also God created man as his representative and made him the Lord of all creation. His representative. And the Lord of creation. So this means he wanted to give all his creation to man. And also it says, man was the masterpiece of God's creation. Well, he wanted to be very proud of him, you know. As God created many things, but God created man as his masterpiece. Therefore, this means that he put everything here. He put all his heart, all his love, all his intellect, all his willpower, all his energy. He put everything into man. And he created man. And therefore, without man, God's purpose of creation could not be realized. So man was so precious that without man, God's creation could not be realized. Such a person was man. Therefore, from this we can understand man was the man of absolute value. Absolute value. Because God created man as a man of absolute value. This was man, original man. So then after fall, what did happen? But by the fall, man lost this man. God lost this man. God lost this center of universe, Lord of universe, his body, his representative. So if we really do not understand the value of man, how valuable man was to God, if we don't understand this, we cannot really understand the sorrow of God. If there was one man, an old man, and just after 4 long years of his life, he worked very hard day and night, and he made his fortune. And also his hard work and his prayer work, you know, it was very difficult for him to get son. And after his hard work, hard prayer work, and he invested very much. He did good things to all the people, and he invested his heart. Then finally he got one son. So his hope was all in his son. His love, everything. So he wanted to give everything he made to his son, and so he wished every goodness for his son. And he raised him. But only is on the way. Before he reached perfection, he grew up. He was taken away by his enemy. Then how would the old man feel when he lost his only son? But God's sorrow cannot be compared to that. If old man loses him, he lose any desire for his living. You know? So he just maybe he feel it much better to commit suicide before continuing his life. because he lose everything, all hope, everything. And because of his son was taken away, and he lost all his fortune, because he wanted to give his fortune to his son. Therefore, already he registered his fortune under his name. Then everything was taken away by Satan, his enemy. Same thing now for God. So God lost his man and his creation, but not just lost. It was taken by his enemy. Enemy had everything. Enemy. Therefore, his hard work, for how long you think it took for God to create all the creation? About this earth, they say what? 5 billion years or 10 billion years? Some people say 2 billion years, 20 billion years. 20 billion years, they say. So during this long time, he worked hard, only expecting the day when man comes to perfection. That was the day of his hope. For that day, he worked so hard, to looking forward that day. But by the fall, everything was lost. Everything was lost. And not only lost, but he had enemy, and his children became enemy's children. Enemy's children. So what, as a result, what is man God faced? That was that. He worked so hard as if he worked so hard to make enemies world. The result became like that. He wanted to have joy, and he wanted to live together with his children, but because of the fall, his all hard work was taken away by his enemy, and as a result, he stood in the position that he worked for his enemy to give his loving son and the loving children and all creation to enemy. This is the position of God. So Bible says in Genesis chapter 6 and 6, God repented. After man fell, he repented to create creation and man. He regretted so much. Because it was much better than not created. It was, he said, he thought it was better not having created all these things. So we say, God fell, instead of joy, God fell into a swamp of sorrow and agony and suffering. So we say, swamp. If you work, you try to come out, you go deeper and deeper. So it's the same for God. He wanted to forget his sorrow, but if he tries, he becomes more and more sorrowful and more painful. Therefore, God became the most lonely and most sorrowful and most painful God. This is God. And if when you have your son, if you don't have big expectation, even if you lose son, you don't have too much pain. But you have great expectation, big expectation. And if you lose that, your sorrow becomes big, great, in proportion to your expectation. It was so that God has so much expectation and hope and love. Therefore, his pain was so high in proportion to his. And then how about fallen man? Fallen man fell from the position of God, position of children of God, to the slave of Satan. See? This is fallen man's position, situation. But does man know it? Man does not know it. Fallen man does not know it. And man was originally created to be the Lord of all creation, but he became slave of Satan dominion, under Satan dominion, and now man is living a life of no value, life of death. And now man is multiplied. Sinful people and sinful world, established sinful world. But man does not know his miserable state. Man does not know that. And in many cases, man is contented in his life. Contented in his life. So when God sees this, how much more painful. God did not want to have such people, but man became so foolish, so sinful. So man lost his original nature, therefore man became blind. Man became blind, and they don't know, and they just think they are happy. And furthermore, fallen people deny God. They say there's no God. And they rebel against God's will. And they are also rebelling against God's work to restore them to original state. God lost his children, but because he cannot forget his children, therefore he wants to save them. He's working so hard to save them back to his original dominion of love, but man does not know this. Instead, they just rebel against God, and they consider God as enemy. So they are doing just exactly. What they are doing is they are treating God as their enemy. This is what fallen people are doing. And God sent many prophets. And whenever God sent prophets, they stoned to them and they killed them. And finally God sent his only begotten Son, Jesus, but they did the same thing to him. Also they stoned and they killed him, persecuted and killed. Therefore, Isaiah, book 1, verse 3, God said that even the cow knows its master. And the donkey, what do you call it? A donkey knows his eating what do you call that? Eating grass, knows it. But my Israel said that, do not know this. So he pounded his heart, or what do you call it? He just he's still having unbearable life. Therefore, God cannot love fallen people, but he cannot perish them. This is a terrible thing. So if God does not want to see me, if he could perish, maybe he can destroy and perish, then maybe he can forget everything. But because man was created to be eternal being, therefore God cannot love and God cannot perish, destroy. So now God's position is in the dilemma. We call it the dilemma. So he is now put in two pieces of wood. He is in between. Yes. He cannot go this way or not go this way. Just he is stuck there. This is the situation of God. Therefore, just God had to continue his painful and very, very little result work. He is working so hard for painful work, but there's very few, almost no result. But he had to continue this work. This is the work of God after man's fall. When you do something, if you can get result, you can have a hope and you can get continue because you are having feedback. But however you work hard, but you cannot get the result. How painful it is. Continue. but God is doing this. Therefore, we have to say that there is no one who is more pitiful than God. There is no one who is more miserable than God. And for parents, when if their loved son or dies, then if parents see the toys or the things which the son used, if parents see the things which son used, then it reminds everything about his son. So give more pain. And maybe for man's case, if you have that, maybe you can just burn them. You don't want to see them anymore. But you don't want to have that memory, because it gives more pain. But God's case, he cannot destroy it. All the creation. This is all the creation, all the people, whenever he sees them, these things remind him. The fall of man and everything. So they just make God remember all the awful things, all the things. Therefore, it gives him more pain and more agony, more suffering. But we know God is the God who cannot forsake his first purpose. Therefore, God, even he is facing such difficulties, such painful situation, but he is continuing his hard work, desperate. This is the situation of God. So without knowing God's suffering, and so we say in the early days when our church started in Korea, if members come, then just they, if they listen to Divine Principle lectures, and when they receive some grace from heaven, then just they kept weeping, crying, for hours, for sometimes for days. But man does not know why. But anyway, he cries. That's because the Spirit of God, or God, is felt there. Even he does not know the reason why, but he cannot stop crying, weeping. So sort of sometimes just hit your heart, your chest. So that is the state of God. So let God let man feel his heart like that. And sometimes you turn around, weep, just not sitting, but you cannot control your body, and so roll around and weep. So that is the heart of God. So sorrowful. Okay, then next one. Three, this is this. Then when God can have joy, we can easily understand this from parents' situation. If parents have children, and if children are not happy, parents cannot be happy. If children is sick, your child is sick and he is in hospital, or heavy sickness, parents cannot sleep, cannot have joy. However good food he cannot eat. This is heart of parents. Therefore, for God's joy, his children must be happy. Without his children happy, God cannot be happy. So, because man is one with God, because man is body of God, because man is the child of God, therefore, when man has greatest joy or happiness, then God can have joy and happiness. Therefore, we have to understand then how, when man can have joy. So, then what elements are needed for man's joy? We have to find out this. Then what are needed for man's joy? Happiness. Then what do we need man? Does man need to be joy and happy? Man is born as baby. First, you are born as grown-up. There's no man who is born as grown-up man. Every man is born from baby. Yeah, things easier, but the easy thing is not understood by many Christians. They believe man was created as a grown-up man. If other man is born as baby, then the first man should have been born as a baby. That's a natural thing. You know, which is, you think, many people ask, which is first, egg or chicken? Which is first? Yeah, should be egg, because egg is simple one. Egg is the beginning one. No, that's not difficult question. But for fallen people, it's very difficult question. But for me, it's very easy one. That's it. From simple one. God created from simple one. When God created all plants, He did not create big plant, seed. So man was created so man is born as baby. Baby. Then what baby does need? What baby need? For the happiness of baby, what is needed? Yeah, parents' love. So, until when then? From babyhood, from baby's baby and childhood. So, we say babyhood. Babyhood, childhood, boyhood, and until when? Youthhood. Until this time. At least until this time. Huh? Needs parental love, care. This is needed, parental love and care. So even if baby is born in very good circumstances, like materially, but if baby does not have parents, baby is not happy baby. Even he is fed with milk or so, but more than milk or more than clothes, precious one is love, parental love. This is. And we know that even they are fed well, but if they don't receive love, they cannot grow well. This is true. So for the happiness of child, or until this age, you need parents' love. So this is essential element for man's happiness, joy. Therefore, we say orphans. Orphans are happy, open. You never say it. Orphans are very miserable, we say. Or you want to give them sympathy for those orphans. Huh? Then how about when men grown up? This is baby, obviously. Then about from man, grown up man. When men grown up, then what is needed? This point, if woman became older than 21 years old, or man reached 25 years old, then what do you need? You can live alone. you're living alone, that is happy. Then, when you get old enough, then you need spouse. Yeah, old enough. Old enough, huh? Spiritually also. Not only physically, but spiritually. Then you want to find your proper spouse. And you want to get married. Spouse and get married. Then what is the purpose of getting married? That is to have love of husband and wife. Therefore, the second essential element for man's joy and happiness is love of husband, love of wife. So without having this, you cannot become a man of happiness, joy. So we say, if man is not married, he is half man, not a full man, half. Therefore, we say, if man or woman dies before they get married, you know where they go? Spirit world, where do they go? No, we say it, in Korea we say it. They become malignant spirits, you know? Malignant. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. But not sick. That is resentful spirits. Well, you don't say that malignant. Oh, disease. Oh, then that's the. But incurable. And it means resentful spirits. Resentful spirits, I mean. Yeah. Resentful spirits. So because they are not, they could not get what they are supposed to get on this earth. So they just roll around. So they, and when spirits come, there are many kind of evil spirits, but most dreadful spirit is this one. Yeah. The spirits. So I hope you don't become resentful spirits. And how about the widows and the widowers? Are they happy people? Widows, no, not. No. So, from this we can understand how important it is, the spouse. So to have love, this is, we call it conjugal love, the importance of conjugal love. So, love of husband and wife, this is very important for man's happiness. Then after that, what will come after that? Then when men get married, then what will they have? And children. Sometimes we see old couple, but if they don't have children, they are very poor, very but pitiful parents, pitiful couple. If you don't have your children, then you cannot raise your children. And by raising your own children, you can make your heart developed. So without children, man cannot develop man's heart fully. This means by loving your own children and by taking care of them, then heart of parents is developed and man gets to maturity. man becomes a man of maturity. Therefore, those who do not have children, not happy people, you know. So if you don't have, then we have to adopt son or daughter, and we have to have this experience of loving and taking care of your children. By this, you can develop your heart. So this children's love, or children, is as this to have children, or to have children, love of children. This is also third essential element for man's joy and happiness. We know this. Then what else do we need? Is this all? For the happiness and joy of man's life, what do we need? We need one more. Love of creation. Because man has physical body, therefore, for man's life, we need physical circumstances. This is like natural circumstances, or your house, or these things. And elements like food or clothing, or for circumstances for your action, you know, or your life. So we list at least conditions. We don't have to have abundant things, but we need at least something for man's happiness, joy. So these four things are the essential elements for man's joy and happiness. Then where these four things are prepared, provided, where? Where can you find these four things together? That is family. So we say God gave man third blessing to control all the creation. Then how can you control all the creation? You can go up the top of mountain and you can control order, give order to the creation. What does it mean, control of all creation? That means to have things which you need for your life. You use it for you, as you want, you know. This is control of creation. So the place where you fulfill this third blessing is also family. Therefore, family is the place where man can find all these four elements, and man can find true happiness and joy. Then how can we establish God's family? That's by realizing God's three blessings to man. So we have to have three blessings. We have to realize God's three blessings. Without fulfilling three blessings, we cannot have these four. Then how about fallen man's case? You know, in fallen man's case, if you go to America, or I think even in Germany, there are many people who don't want to get married. You find many people like this? Yeah. Then why don't they want to get married? Because they do not want to have their loving spouse? Yeah, because they cannot find good spouse whom they can trust. Even they get married, they'll know when he or she will be betrayed. They'll know. And if you get divorced, then you have to pay. In America, if man get divorced twice, he'll have nothing left. So they know this. Therefore, the purpose of getting married is to be happy. But instead, by having wrong marriage, then you don't know which is wrong or which is good. So if he is unlucky, he'll have it. So because of this, they don't want to have marriage. Not because marriage itself is bad. Because they cannot trust man or woman. They cannot predict future. Future is not guaranteed. If future is guaranteed, if you can trust your husband or wife, why not get married? So this is not from those phenomena which they evade marriage, does not come from man's original desire. That comes from because of the foreign circumstances. And also many cases, people do not want to have children. This is also true. Why this? Then this is wrong. Why does it come? Why don't they have children? Because they don't know what kind of children they'll have. Whether they'll be criminals or, they don't know. And yesterday there was some brother came and he said that he went to hospital and he found many miserable children. Some was head was open, some stomach was open. All kinds of terrible babies are coming these days now. This is because of fall of man. In the original ideal world, there will not be such a miserable thing. So now man is receiving for the things which man did, or evils. So he said that the doctors who see this, they never want to have baby because of this. They don't know who will have this. No one knows. And even you have good baby, but after grow up, then during their process of growth, they can be influenced by evil friends, or they can use drugs. Then you don't know what will happen to your own children. And because of these things, many cases parents do not want to have children. But this is does not come from their own desire, natural desire. Original desire to want to have children, but because they cannot know the future of their children or the state of their children, because of this they don't want to have children. All these things come from the fallen facts of this world, man. Okay, then what is? So now we have to ask a question again. Then what are the good objects for God's joy? God wanted to have various give and take action. God wanted to make His joy very a rich joy, not just monotonous joy. If He has only one man, then He can have only give and take only with him. But if He has many people, He can have different give and take action with different people. So the more the people, He can have more variety of give and take action. So He can have greater joy. To have greater joy, God created all the creations, different kinds of creations. And also God let man multiply. So God wanted to have as many children as possible. This was to make more or rich the content of God's joy. So, as we said, man can have joy when man fulfills God's blessings. Therefore, God also can have joy and happiness when He sees man fulfills God's blessings to man. So now, for God's blessings. accomplishment of God's three blessings. First one is first blessing. How is this made? When God and man's mind. First, man's mind, mind's body, and this man's mind have perfect identification with God. And his mind controls his body. This is perfect man. Then perfect man have perfect give and take action with God. So this man, perfect man, is one with God. And he can feel God's heart. Or we can say he can feel God's heart, or he can inherit God's heart. He inherits God's heart. Because he inherits God's heart, therefore he knows God's heart. So we say, when man can control his children, if his children do not understand parents' heart, parents cannot control man. Even he tells something, children cannot understand parents. But when children understand parents' heart, then they can understand what parents say or what parents do. So because of this, if man does not understand God's heart, God cannot control man. So this is the state when man reaches perfection. So man must be able to understand God's heart, feel God's heart. And we say this man becomes a body of man, therefore we say this is the man of God's nature. Or we say man of deity, but man of deity we use usually for God, so we say he inherits God's original nature. This is perfect man. So this man we say God's substantial object. This man is God's substantial object. So from him, God can feel his own 성상 and 형상, and God can be happy. So as we said before, so with this, God can feel his 성상 and 형상 from this man. God's joy, come. Or this one. This is for God's joy. Therefore, once man reaches perfection, because he understands God's heart, therefore he cannot do anything by which God can be sorrowful. He cannot do that. So, because of this, once man reaches perfection, man cannot fall. Even he can be tempted, but because he understands God's heart, he cannot do evil things. So Bible says that Corinthians first book, chapter 3:16, you are the temple of God, and Spirit of God dwells in you, he said that. So when we reach perfection, man becomes a temple of God, and Spirit of God dwells in man. This is perfect man. And John 14:20, Jesus said that, in that day, I'll be in you, you'll be in me, and I'll be in my Father, and You in me and I in you, he said that. So it means that God and Jesus and we, restored men, become one. And Matthew 5:48 also said that you is to become as perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. So our goal of salvation was this, to become as perfect as our Heavenly Father is perfect. So what is second blessing? As they multiply, so man and woman, they become one with God as perfect men, and they become husband and wife. And by their exchange of love and beauty, they multiply children, and by this they can establish family. And from family, if we have many families like this, then we can find society, the nation, and world. In this world, everyone will become like that. They become one with God. They can feel God's heart, and they become men of God's nature. Therefore, in this world, we cannot find any sin or evil. So every man lives according to the will of God. And we call this world kingdom of heaven. So this is kingdom of heaven. Sinless world. And we say this world resembles like one perfect man. Because in man, the orders from brain goes to members through nervous system, and body moves according to the orders of mind, brain. Likewise, in this world, God becomes the head of this world. So God becomes this world, the head of this world, and the words of God becomes the directives of man's life. Therefore, man lives according to the words of God. So all men work as if cells of one body. They work together, they help together. So in our physical body, if some part is wrong, then the other part come and help. Same thing. So in ideal world, everyone work together, help each other, love each other. Therefore, this world is just like one form of one perfected man. This is God. And all people like this. Therefore, this world is like one man. Therefore, this is substantial object of God, substantial object of man. In turn, it becomes substantial object of God. Therefore, from this God and man, both because man can have stimulations for their own sangsang and hyeongsang, and joy of God, joy of man come together. So in this world, God and man both can be joyful and happy. This is the world of second blessing is accomplished. What is now? Okay, now so we now in the third blessing a little bit long, so we stop here and. This morning is the last part of section 3, so we left out one, that was third blessing of God, the accomplishment of third blessing of God. This is to return joy to God, the three objects for God's joy, in that part. 3. Third blessing. Third blessing is to have dominion over His creation, God's creation. And to become the Lord, we have to have the qualifications for that. Then what is the qualification to become the Lord of all creation? That is to become the man of God's heart and love. So by reaching perfection, we come to have God's heart and love. And when we have this, then we can have dominion. We can become Lord of all creation. So God will be happy if we become a man of God's heart and love. Then He can, with an easy heart, He can give all His creation under man's control. So lordship. We have to have lordship, and this is to become a man of God's heart and love. Then we can control all the creation. This is because original Lord should be God, but God has no physical body, therefore God gave this authority to man. And therefore man controls all the creation on behalf of God, as the representative of God. And for man to control all the creation, then there should be some common elements. Without having common elements, man cannot control creations. And also, therefore, God created all the creation resembling man's nature. So, as we said before, man has Seongsang and Hyeongsang. So in his image, man's image, as image of man, God created all the creation. So they have this Seongsang and Hyeongsang. So creation resembles man's Seongsang and Hyeongsang. Because of this, man can control all the creation. And also we have to find out why God created all the creation for man. So to find out this, we want to compare man and animal, man and plants, and man and mineral.
Is it right, man's image?
Yeah, man's image. So in man's image, God created creation. So. Man and animal. You know, man has all the structures, functions, and the elements of animals. So man has functions and elements of animal. Man contains all these elements. Animal are in man. In man, man has this. So we, for instance, we give a vocal cord, man's vocal cord. Man can sound all kinds of sound, yeah? or of animal. So, or animal sound, we can make all kinds of animal sound. What do you call animal voice? You call it? Animal sound, maybe that's better. And well, physical body looks almost the same. Physical body. Man's physical body is made of the elements. We eat animal flesh, but physical body almost the same. Looks almost the same. Made of same elements. Huh? So, to this, physical body of animals. This is man, this is animal. And also internal organs, almost same internal organs. Similar internal organs. And of course cells are almost same. Cells, both this side is man, this is man, this is animal. Almost same. Then if we compare man and plant, this side, also we can find resemblance between the two. Cells looks almost the same. Cells and lungs of man is like leaves of a plant. So they look similar. You know, if you look the shape of a lung, you know, not outside but the inside, looks like just leaves, lungs. And heart is like trunk. And we know there is a artery, R-I-E. Why? Arteries. Artery and vein. Artery and vein. It's just like a phloem. Xylem and phloem. And of course we know stomach is like root. Shape is similar and also action is similar. Good. So from this we can know how they are similar to each other. And how about man and mineral? man's physical body is made of water and mineral and air. So in man, water, 1/3 of man's physical body is water. And also we have air and all kinds of elements. So we have almost all kinds of elements are contained in man's physical body. So because of this, also we can say man has all the elements of minerals in man. So we have to take minerals for to maintain man's health. And even the earth and man is very similar. Man and earth. This is the place we are living. So this is man and this is earth. How they resemble each other? So we have hair. Man has hair. The grasses. Grass. And there's a skin and crust. And we have a muscle, and this is earthly. Muscle and earth layer. And then we have a blood vessel. This is like underground water. And we have a bone and bone. This is rock layer. And we have a material marrow. This is like lava. Lava layer. So almost same. Yeah? So the fact that man has all the structures, functions, and elements of animals, plants, and minerals, what does this mean? This means that all the creation are creative in resemblance of man, in the image of man. It means that. So all the creation, they resemble the man's 성상 and 형상. So, therefore, God created all the creation as substantial objects of man, and man wanted man to have give and take action with his objects, the creation. By having this give and take action, man can receive joy. So, for the joy of man, God created all the creation. So by this we can understand. By having give and take action, man can feel his stimulating sentiment to his own 성상 and 형상, and he can find joy. So to let man have joy, God created all the creation as his objects. So this is the purpose of creation of all the creation for man. Okay, so now, therefore we can say man, 성상 and 형상, and this one, and this problem can take action with 성상 of all the creation, and they have good give and take action. So this is man's objects. By having this give and take action, man's joy. So because of this, he created this one. This is object of man. So we say this is also image of man, we call it. This is image of man. Image of man. So when man controls all the creation, then they become one, and creation becomes like man's body. So when you drive your car, then if driver and the car becomes one, then car is like man's driver's body. Same thing. So when we control all the creation, then man and creation become one, and the creation becomes like man's body. In this case, man plays the role of nerve, head. For car, driver is the head of car. So as you drive, it goes. As you want to stop, it stops. Same thing. So all the creations become man's elements, man's members, like body. So when man controls all the creation, then we can have ideal world. So we say, centering on God, if man controls all the creation, then from this we can have ideal world. This is ideal world. Then this ideal world just looks like one perfect man. So this like man, and here this head is man. All the creation is like members. This is creation. Like members of body. And as man directs, they move. As our physical bodies move. Body moves, same thing. Therefore this world becomes, because this resembles one perfect man, therefore it becomes substantial, object of man. And man is substantial object of God. Therefore this in return, this becomes substantial object of God. Therefore, from this, God and man, both, God and man receive stimulating sentiment for their 성사 and 형상. For their 성사 and 형상. Therefore here comes God and man's joy. Both joy of God and man come.